Alright guys, welcome back into another PGA DFS video. We got the Open Championship this week, so I'm pretty pumped up. The last major of the year, and kind of the last full tournament field event that we can really go out and attack. Now there are a few left in the season, but this is the one I was really looking forward to. Alright, so in today's video, we'll do last week's recap as always. We'll give you the player pool for this tournament, the Open Championship. We're going to give you the course breakdown, and we're going to give you our 4 core plays. So stick to the end. We'll have those there for you. Let's do last week's recap. Alright, so looking at last week's recap, there you guys go at the bottom there. That's our cash build. So we didn't play that much, and the reasoning why was because we were ending up in this range where it kind of left us with a 50-50 decisioner. So I actually wanted to get Dylan Fratelli in this lineup instead of Troy Merritt. I actually couldn't do that. So it ended up being a choice between Denny McCarthy, Troy Merritt, and Sam Ryder. I ended up going with Troy Merritt, but I put Sam Ryder in a GPP build. That actually ended up doing pretty well. But once again, we cashed again, so that was real nice. Up to 82% on the year on full tournament field events, and that's just per event. Throughout the year, we're over 90% in total contests entered. And what I mean by that is our cash build, we didn't enter it in that many contests last week because it was kind of just more of a volatile week. You know, we're just going off the stats, and as you guys can see, the player pool there did pretty darn good. We had our mid-exposure play, Dylan Fratelli, go out and win it. Other than that, it was a pretty solid week. Fratelli was in our top 15 plays as well on the Patreon page. So if you guys want to join that, it's only $5 a month, okay? You're getting the best DFS advice at the best price, okay? I know when I was first starting out, you know, trying to play PGA DFS, or I just didn't have enough time to do my own research, I was looking at kind of some options, and they're just all overpriced. I'm like, okay, this sucks. So when I finally started to give PGA DFS advice, all right, I'm going to make it at a value. I'm not going to make people break their bank trying to get the advice. I'm going to have them get the advice for a nice, easy price, and then have them be able to use that money to actually win money instead of just trying to recoup what they invested. So that's kind of why, you know, I do it that way. Player pool did good last week. It's been doing well pretty much the last 2 months. We've cashed 7 straight weeks. So it's been dominant, and I hope we can continue that this week. Let's get into the course overview for the Open Championship. Alright, so getting into the breakdown of the Open Championship. It is a beautiful course. I mean, just look at that thing. Lots of rolling hills, pretty big open fairways. Not that much rough area, though. So that is kind of one worry concern. So we do kind of worry about driving accuracy. But to look at driving accuracy, I'm mostly going to be focused on total driving, because I do think if people are be able to bomb it, but bomb it accurately, they're going to have a significant advantage. So we also are going to be looking at bogey avoidance, ball striking, and strokes gained total. All stats I really like this week. I also do like bounce back percentage as well. Some of the course fits are going to be Xander Schauffele, Patrick Cantlay, Jason Day, Adam Scott, Matt Kuchar, Webb Simpson, and Scott Piercy. All guys that are playing pretty decent as well, so I do like them. But guys that are in good current form are Hideki Matsuyama, Tommy Fleetwood, Kevin Streelman, Joaquin Niemann, Henrik Stenson, and Rafa Corbello Bello. All guys that are in just phenomenal form. I do like those plays as well this week, so really do like those guys. Once again, key stats. Going to be looking at sand saves a little bit as well. Might focus on driving accuracy actually a little bit. Strokes gained total is always a stat that I like to look at. And then greens of regulation and strokes gained putting are going to be some stats I'm looking at as well this week. All right, let's get into the player pool. I will be focusing mostly on a fair and balanced approach this week, but there are some value options that I'll touch on here in just a second. All right, so I do really like the player pool this week on DraftKings. It's kind of straightforward, which I really like personally. So on the top end, I do think you can go with Rory, Brooks, or DJ. I think I'd rather just go with Rory the most. So for course history, we're going to be looking at tournament history, and specifically the last 3 years. The link style courses are all they try to mimic each other somewhat. I mean, I know it's different by each course, but Rory has 3 top 10 finishes and the last 3 years. So that is 3 top 5 finishes actually, and he's first in strokes gained total. We know Brooks, who he is as a player. He just goes out and plays well in majors. 2 straight made cuts at the Open Championship. Then we got DJ, who actually missed the cut last year, and that was because he struggled hitting his drive accurate. So if he's not hitting it accurate again this year, he could struggle as well. But I still don't mind him. I think I'd rather just pay down for Justin Rose than go with DJ. Justin Rose has made 3 straight cuts, including a T2 last year. He's typically a guy that's really good at putting. He kind of saves himself that way, a bogey avoidance type of play. But the one I like the most is going to be Xander Schauffele. T2 last year and a T20 the year before that. He's a good par 4 scorer. There are a lot of par 4s here. He's 7th in strokes gained total, and he's just top 65 in all the stats that we're looking at, which added up was like 31st. So his average stat fit-wise is 31st, which is honestly just phenomenal. He is a top 5 stat fit this week as well. The other one I like is going to be Patrick Cantlay. Now, the last major, Patrick Cantlay was priced above Xander Schauffele, so I want to go with Xander a little bit more. Now it's flip-flopped. I mean, these guys to me are pretty much the exact same play, except for Cantlay's a little bit better stat fit, actually. 2nd in strokes gained total, 1st in scrambling, 1st in bounce back percentage, and 1st in bogey avoidance. I mean, he is making for a great play at this tournament, so I do really like him. He did finish T12 in his first British Open as well. We got Adam Scott here, who I just think is a phenomenal play. He's just been playing well recently, and you look at what he's done at the British Open, the Open Championship, whatever you want to call it, just great. T17, T22, T43. He's a really good par 4 scoring, 3rd in strokes gained total. He's getting better at putting. His putting just keeps getting better, and he doesn't make that many bogeys. He's able to bounce back as well. Matt Kuchar just going to be a popular option this week. He's just mispriced, I think, personally. T9 and it's 2nd in the last 2 British Opens. He's 3rd in par 4 scoring, top 20 in total driving, ball striking, strokes gained, scrambling, sand saves, greens and regulation, bogey avoidance. I think he's just going to be a phenomenal play for us. Then you guys can play Jason Day, Hideki. Those are going to be fine options. I think I'd just rather go with Henrik Stenson here, given the recent form that he's in. Now, we saw this coming. If you guys remember, about probably, I don't know when it was, like 6 weeks ago, we saw his game trending upwards. He's made 3 straight cuts at the Open Championship, including a victory in 2016. Paul Casey I do like as well. Both of those plays are not going to be bad plays, but Paul Casey and Gary Woodland to me are about the same play, and they're priced pretty much the same. Great total drivers, great ball strikers, great strokes gained total. So those guys are going to be more GPP plays for me. And then Graham McDowell, we know the narrative with him. He's got a membership at this course. Actually, his brother works at this course. Now, he hasn't been playing well recently, the last 2 events, but I think that was just because he was honestly looking forward, so I'd be fine with playing McDowell in a GPP. Webb Simpson going to be a really popular option. I'll touch on him later on in the video, but 3 straight make cuts at the Open Championship, 2nd in scrambling, 9th in sand saves and strokes gained total. I think he's going to be a phenomenal play at that price point. Another play that's kind of getting overlooked, or I think will get overlooked, is actually going to be Mark Leishman, who, if the weather gets bad, he is one of the best bad weather players in the field, and we get him at this price point where he's made 3 straight cuts at the Open Championship. I do like that as a play. Tony Finau, we saw struggled after the last major. Now he made the cut in his last event. I think he'll be a decent fit. 3 straight made cuts at the Open Championship. Got Ian Poulter, who honestly is worrying me a little bit. Missed the cut at the last 2 majors. Really just hasn't been performing well, but he is a really good stat fit. Miscut in his last Open Championship and then a T14 the year before that, so it's kind of mixed with that. Rafa Corbello Bello has made 3 straight cuts at the Open Championship, and he's just in phenomenal form. Him and Henrik Stenson are kind of virtually the same play. Their game struggled a little bit in the middle of the season, and then it kind of kicked up, and now they're rolling. So I do like both of those guys as GPP plays for sure. Lee Westwood is actually, I think he'll go underlooked a little bit. He's typically a bad weather player as well. 3 straight made cuts at the Open Championship. 8 out of 10 cuts total on the year. He's actually been playing some really good golf this year, kind of going unnoticed. I do like him as a GPP play at that price point. Another good GPP play is going to be Jim Furyk. Really good stat fit. He's top 20 according to my model this week. He's had a really good year actually this year. Kind of hit or miss here, but this should be a course that sets up well for him. Now, Eric Van Rooyen, I do like him as well. T17 at the Open Championship last year. We look at his recent form. It's decent. He does have that missed cut 2 weeks ago, but he did have a made cut last week. So at that low end, a guy that's a little bit more familiar with link style courses, I'd maybe want to roll with him. Emiliano Grillo, pretty decent stat fit, but he did miss 2 cuts in a row at the Open Championship. He had a T12 in 2016, though, but we know he doesn't really make mistakes, so I think Gorilla would be a good GPP option. Mike Lorenzo Vera, who's actually probably been my most owned Euro on the year for like the 4 contests I've actually played. He's just been a great cut maker this year. He's priced down low compared to what he is normally on the European Tour, so not a bad play for you. Kevin Streelman's actually one of the better link style players, especially at this low price point. He kind of going unnoticed. Really good stat fit as well. Top 20 according to my model. He doesn't make bogeys. He's top 25 in total driving, ball striking, and strokes gained total. I like Streelman. If he can putt well, I think he's going to have a good week. He sets himself up and puts himself in good position. So I do like Streelman at that price point. Joaquin Niemann, we know he has been rocking and rolling. He's been playing some really good golf, so hopefully he can ride that form and make a cut here at the Open. I do believe it is his first one, so we do worry about that a little bit, but hopefully he can adjust to the jet lag and be able to play well. He did play at the John Deere Classic, so that's something that we do have to worry about. Definitely a GPP play for me. Scott Piercy, once again, great stat fit. Okay, just a phenomenal stat fit. The only part of his game that struggles is sand saves. He's 105 in that. So other than that, top 60 in all the stats that we're looking at. Just a phenomenal stat fit, having a phenomenal year, has played well at the majors so far this year. I think at that price point, I do like that play a lot. GPP-wise, maybe 20% ownership for him on GPPs. I do think the fair and balanced approach is going to be the way to go this week. Don't have to dip too low in the value plays, but if you have to, there are some decent plays you can go with. Andrew Putnam is going to be one of those plays, just in some great recent form. Given his recent form, I don't mind that as a play at all. Paul Waring, I don't know if I said that right. I apologize if I didn't. Pretty good form recently, 9 out of 11 cuts made. He's a guy that I played a little bit on the European Tour as well. He did struggle in his last round last week, so that does worry me slightly, but still not a bad one. Ryan Palmer is actually a really good stat fit as well. Given the price point, it's kind of a risk I'm willing to take given the price point. Not the best play because he doesn't have the best Open Championship history, but still not that bad of a play for me. And then the last one here, I think we can go with Nate Lashley. I don't mind that as a play at all, given his price point, but that's just me trying to fill out this GPP build. Probably won't have him except for maybe one lineup, one off. I also do like Oliver Wilson here. He's been in good recent form as well. 13 out of 15 total made cuts as well. So on the value side, I don't really think we have to dip below, but there are some good stat fits and some guys that are in some good recent form where if you have to, you can. But that's kind of going to be the GPP build there for me. Let's get into the core plays. All right, so starting off, we got Matt Kuchar here. I already touched on it a little bit. I think he's going to be the most popular play given his price point, given his recent form, and his course history, or his tournament history, is just phenomenal. T9, a second, a T46. He's third in par 4 scoring, just top 10 in ball striking, strokes gained total, scrambling, sand saves, GUR, and bogey avoidance. I mean, if he doesn't have a good week, that would just mean that he was unlucky. So that's pretty much it. And then, so let's get into the next core play here. All right, so the next core play is going to be Adam Scott. I already touched on it a little bit earlier, but he's just a phenomenal option at this price point. Under 9K, I like it a lot. T17, T22, and a T43. Second in par 4 scoring. Third in strokes gained total. 23rd in strokes gained putting, which I do like looking at putting this week just because it is a stat that I think is going to be needed. They do have the greens. I think it was like at a 3. I would have to double check that again on the stim meter, but I know they're talking about trying to get it down low. But so I think that's why putting is going to be a stat that we have to look at this week. But also, Adam Scott just performs well at majors. I guess you could say right now he's a poor man's version of Brooks Koepka, except for Adam Scott actually plays pretty decent at regular events as well. All right, let's get into the next core play here. All right, you guys might have been able to guess this. Patrick Cantlay. Now, I do like Xander, but we get Patrick Cantlay for $500 cheaper, and he's a slightly better stat fit. I already touched on it. 18th in par 4 scoring, 56th in total driving, 51st in ball striking, second in strokes gained total, first in scrambling, 38th in sand saves, First in bounce back percentage, 25th in strokes gained putting, and first in bogey avoidance. You know, Patrick Cantlay, I do really like this. I do wish he had a little bit more experience at the Open Championship, but a T12 in his first year, I do like that a lot. All right, then lastly, Webb Simpson, just a great stat fit. I don't know if I have to really elaborate on it too much, but we might as well. Let me try to pull it up here real quick. So, second in scrambling, 9th in strokes gained total, 9th in sand saves, 10th in bounce back percentage, 7th in bogey avoidance. He has been struggling with his greens and regulation. That does worry me, but given his scrambling and his bounce back stats, I don't mind it too much. He's a really good putter as well, T22 in that, and his 9th in strokes gained total. So he's going to be a phenomenal play. He's made 3 straight cuts here at the Open Championship, all T40 or better at this price point. I do like that a lot. All right, that's all we have for you guys on today's video. If you enjoyed this, please give me a like and subscribe as always. And like I said, check out that Patreon page. Trying to get to 75 patrons this week. We're at 68 right now, only $5 a month. And, just let's keep cashing. Thanks.